Girls Band Cry Review, Immaculate Immaturity. Hello everyone, back to talk about one of the hottest shows of spring 2024, Girls Band Cry. This show is absolutely excellent and deserves all the popularity that it has gotten in my opinion. There will not be direct plot spoilers, just general details about the show and the characters. So the best of music-focused shows, for me, do not lean solely on the musical aspects to be entertaining and engaging. I do not have any musical or instrumental background, and I probably like music a bit less than the average person. But I have still thoroughly enjoyed many musically inclined shows, like Bocce the Rock, K-On!, and Your Lie in April, because of the other strong elements they have that make them a complete package. Girls Band Cry is one of these shows that has plenty of diverse appeal. It has great visuals, fun characters, a uniquely aggressive tone and energy, and solid music. So first, let's talk about the visuals. This is by far one of the best looking CGI anime out there, and as a whole is a great looking show. If you say this show looks bad, I'm sorry, but you are objectively wrong. I think the stigma among anime fans has been waning for years now, due to the many great CGI anime we've gotten over the years, such as the ones from Studio Orange. And this show is definitely playing a part in converting people and quieting these haters. Movement is one area where CGI anime tends to struggle the most, but here I never felt that it was overly stiff or unexpressive. Everyone's personalities are portrayed very well through character animation. Someone slumping over while feeling dejected, taking cautious steps while carrying something heavy, and moving faster or slower depending on their mood are some examples. It can be dramatic, bouncy, cutesy, goofy, etc. CGI models also tend to have very stiff expressions, which is not an issue here at all in my opinion. We have lots of great facial expressions, from the girls crying to making goofy faces. The animation succeeds at letting the show have great physical comedy, which we see a lot in the multitude of arguments and confrontations. Main characters also don't get stiff or all that much worse when they aren't the main person talking. The quality is generally very consistent, and there are some gags and minor bits of animation that you could totally miss. And of course, we cannot praise the animation without mentioning the stellar musical performances. The final one especially is such a highlight of the whole show. There are still some areas where it struggles a little bit with the usual CGI animation issues, like the mouth movements looking a bit weird or unimportant characters looking a bit cheaper, but these minor duds are completely eclipsed by the great stuff that we see, and are very few and far between. It used to be that CGI shows mostly looked bad, and here and there had some decent looking moments. This is the exact opposite. 95% of the time I remember it looking great, and not great just for a CGI anime. In general, it just has fantastic production quality. And I didn't even know that this was coming from Toei at first. Clearly they are investing very strongly in CGI anime, as they're continuing to experiment with 3D. We have a decent amount of all CGI anime from them that we've gotten in the past few years, between Dragon Ball Super Superhero, Sandland, and now Girls Band Cry. I was pretty happy with Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and this is another great step forward. This is not CGI out of laziness or cheapness to me, which is the usual accusation people make towards anime using CGI. This is truly trying its best to be great, and to me, it succeeds with flying colors. The anime also looks good in all other areas. The lighting can be a little bit much sometimes, but it is generally fine or it's great. We also get lots of moments with great perspective and angles. The backgrounds can go from looking very normal to being downright gorgeous. The image I'm showing on screen now, and you can also see all these images and more in the blog post in the description. And this shot is one of my favorites in the whole show. This is just gorgeous. The character designs are also very great, Tomo's being my favorite. And speaking of favorites, I have to go with Rupa as best girl. She shreds the bass while being super sweet and funny in her low-key demeanor, and she really helps to balance the higher intensity of the other characters, which I will get to soon. All these great bassists in anime honestly really are tempting me to get into bass guitar. It has been confirmed that they plan to do more with Girls Band Cry, and one of the writers apologized for not being able to do enough with Rupa, so I'm sure we'll get the focus on her that many of us really wanted. I really loved all of the characters. They're all very fun and endearing with strong personalities. And this is the perfect segue into one of the biggest strengths of the show, which is the aggressive energy and banter that we frequently get from the main characters. There's so much feistiness between the members that is so refreshing and entertaining. Most anime focus on a group of girls doing something, focus heavily on wholesomeness and team unity, and as such, usually just have a few moments of serious interpersonal conflict that generally don't last very long or aren't very deep or all that intense. Whereas here, we have multiple moments of the characters bickering practically every single episode, and their issues don't get resolved quickly. They're constantly yelling, they're throwing objects at each other, and literally getting in each other's faces. All of which makes for great physical comedy, while also having the characters show their intense emotions in more ways than just talking. I understand if all the bickering could be annoying for some, but for me it's not, and it's my favorite thing about the show. Emotions truly run high in this show. The girls in this band do be crying. The emotional beats of the show succeed very well, and it has many great moments where you really feel for the characters. Both their highs and their lows feel very well written. And the biggest aspect of the great emotional energy of this show is Nina. Nina is such a well done, mentally unstable teenager. According to the creatives, she is the reason why they couldn't do more with some of the other characters like Rupa. She just gave the writers so much just to do stuff with. Her mood can do a complete 180 on a dime. She's petty, she's immature, she doesn't take no for an answer. Her emotional moments are a big highlight of the show. If you haven't seen the show, you've probably seen some gifs from the show, and it's probably of her flipping out. She brings so much of the aggressive energy of the show, and the other characters have to react to that. We see how all these characters have their own issues and insecurities, and how that impacts the way they communicate. We especially see this in the main duo, who have a lot of great stuff between them that I can't go into detail on. An important but not spoilery example is around Momoko being more experienced in both life and in being a musician. This contrasts with Nina's lack of experience in both of those areas, but you eventually learn how Momoko can also be just as immature as her in various ways. The aggressive energy that I'm praising so much is also shown well in the smaller background details. The characters feel very well ingrained in the setting, being seen in a lot of different locations. This keeps the setting varied and helps the world feel more lived in. They're constantly being public nuisances when they meet up and discuss things over food, which inevitably erupts into arguments pretty much every time. Another aspect of the characters being immature is that when the band members argue, the others present don't feel like they've just faded into the background. And generally in the backgrounds you can see people react to these arguments. These arguments feel more real because it doesn't feel like they're in some bubble. They're really people shouting at each other at the top of their lungs in the middle of a public place. That intensity that I'm talking about is very well portrayed. The characters feel grounded in their world and in their emotions. The music matches the angsty energy of the show, as it's more aggressive than the songs we typically get from other anime girl bands like Kazoku Band from Bocchi the Rock. The music we hear fits with the characters deliberately using music as a means to vent their emotions. You genuinely feel that in the music, and in general the music is good. So to conclude, Girls Band Cry is hilarious, it's visually excellent, it has an awesome aggressive tone, and it has great emotional elements that play very well into the characters, the atmosphere, the music, and the themes. It'd be really smart on the developers' parts to get this officially licensed in English as soon as possible. It is ridiculous that still is an issue. I absolutely love this anime and I very highly recommend it. This is one of those anime that to me truly did live up to the hype. So thank you very much for watching. I have a blog where I do stuff like this, reviews and analysis. I'll do videos on them, but you could also see it on my actual website if you'd rather read. And yeah, mainly videos from me will be like this. Be using my blog as a script to record these videos and just ad-libbing a little bit and stuff like that. And also might do a stream here and there or do unscripted rant type videos where I just talk about whatever I feel like. So if any of that interests you, please stick around. And again, thank you very much.